So Sony has started their PSN extended play sale, and we are here to bring you the biggest and best deals from this sale so that you can look over and grab any games that you may have missed. Hey, I'm LittleBobby here with 59 Gaming Direct, and if you enjoy this content, make sure to leave us a like, hit that subscribe button, and click the notification bell to stay informed on all the latest news, reviews, and more that we bring you here on 59 Gaming Direct. So let's just get right into it. We'll start off with one that I'm sure that most of you already have, but if you don't, it's on sale for a great deal right now. Grand Theft Auto 5 Premium Edition, $19.99, marked down 50% from $39.99 for PS4. If you don't have GTA 5, it does include GTA Online. It's one of the best single-player stories that's ever been made in gaming, and Rockstar put a ton of work into this one. If you don't have it, here's your chance to get it for 20 bucks. And speaking of Rockstar, we do have Red Dead Redemption 2. I'm pretty sure this is a premium edition as well. It's marked down 60% from $79.99 to $31.99. Unfortunately, we have not seen a 4K 60 patch for Red Dead Redemption 2, but it is one of the greatest games of all time. It is one of the greatest games I've ever played. If you have a cowboy fantasy or have ever had a cowboy fantasy and you want to live that out in a video game, get Red Dead Redemption 2. This is a great deal, especially for a premium edition. Make sure you pick that up if you haven't played this one yet. I cannot recommend this one enough. Next up, we have Marvel's Spider-Man. This recently came out on PC, but we have the Game of the Year edition, which is going to come with all of the DLC for 50% off. This is going for $24.99, marked down from $49.99. Spider-Man PS4 is one of my favorite PlayStation games that has ever been made. I absolutely adore the story. The exploration and the traversal is second to none. There's never been anything quite like it since the Spider-Man 2 game on the PS2, I believe, way back in the day. So you definitely want to get your hands on this one. This is a great deal for a great game. I recently did the platinum on this myself for the PS5 edition, and man, I had more fun than ever. It is definitely worth the pickup. Check it out, Spider-Man Game of the Year edition. And next we have The Quarry for PS4 and PS5. For PS4, it is going to run you $53.59, down from $79.99. And for PS5, it's going to be $60.29, down from $89.99. Both are at a 33% discount. This does look to be the extended editions because they're a little more than they normally would be for that markdown, but this game came out just a couple of months ago. I think it was the 10th of June, and it's gotten rave reviews from players so far. Everyone who's played it that I've heard loves it. It is a story-based game, so make sure that you do know that going in. If you're gonna buy this one, it's gonna be like an interactive story where you make the decisions, a choose your own adventure book, basically come to a video game form. It's gotten, like I said, great reviews, both from reviewers and from people who have played it. So if you want a relatively new game that you can play through a bunch of different ways because those choices are going to make the story different every time, go ahead and pick up The Quarry for 33% off. Another big one that came out pretty recently is Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, the next level edition. And that's going to come with some of the DLC. I think it's going to have some of the DLC, but not all the bonus stuff. So you should get like the season pass stuff with it. This is for PS4 and PS5, marked down from $89.99 to $60.29, a 33% markdown. Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, the DLCs were definitely under delivering, in my opinion, as someone who's been playing the franchise for a long time. However, the core game really does feel like a Borderlands game, and it's set in the very D&D style Wonderlands that Tiny Tina creates. I have not had more fun in a looter game for just like zaniness of the story and how kind of wacky all the characters are. If you like that kind of style game, if you're a fan of Borderlands, this is definitely a great pickup. And if you don't like the story of the DLCs, it's okay because they do come with some great gear, so maybe that makes it worth it for you if you are a fan of this kind of gear grinding, loot driven game. Again, that's $60.29, down from $89.99. So check that one out if you are a fan of looter shooters in the Borderlands franchise. Up next, we have the Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga Deluxe Edition. This is for PS4 and PS5. It is 30% off at $62.99, down from $89.99. I have heard nothing but great things about this game. It goes through the entirety of the Skywalker Saga, basically episodes 1 through 9 of the Star Wars films, and it does a great job at kind of hamming it up in that Lego style. All the little clips that I've seen out there this game where they tweak things have been hilarious, and the Lego games have always had great gameplay. That's one thing that Lego games are really known for. They're just a blast to play, whether they're doing Marvel, Star Wars, whatever. It just is always a good time when you're playing a Lego game, and there's not one that I've heard much better things about than the Skywalker Saga. Make sure you pick this one up if you love Lego. Again, 30% off at $62.99. All right, and another one for you looter fans, Outriders World Slayer PS4 and PS5 is $59.99, down 25% from $79.99. Outriders is kind of like a third-person shooter looter Diablo game. It much more represents that Diablo-style gameplay than any other looter shooter I've played with abilities and stuff. Obviously, Borderlands and Destiny, there's some common DNA there, but here in Outriders, you definitely see that Diablo DNA kind of shining through more than anything else. And with the Outriders expansion World Slayer, there has been a lot of improvements to the core game on top of the core improvements they made last year with New Horizon. I personally was a big fan of Outriders when it dropped, but once I got to the end game, it was kind of lackluster. All the changes they made with New Horizon last year before World Slayer came out really fixed that, and I've heard nothing but good things about World Slayer for anyone who's a fan of Outriders in general. If you are a fan or if you wanted to check out Outriders, this is a great deal, and I personally would recommend it if you are a fan of Diablo and those kind of loot games, but you want kind of more of a third-person shooter game and that kind of gameplay to go with it. Next up, we've got Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition. This is 50% off at $27.49, down from $54.99. Devil May Cry games are really great action adventure games. They've always been super stylish, super fast-paced and fun, and Devil May Cry 5 is no exception. Make sure you check this one out if you are looking for an upgrade, or if you're a fan of the franchise and never got around to playing Devil May Cry 5. This one is definitely worth your money, especially at $27.49. That is one fantastic deal, especially for a game that's so involved with its combat and lets a player have so much agency over how they choose to engage in every encounter. If you're looking for something a little bit bigger, a little bit longer, we do also have Far Cry 6 Standard Edition for PS4 and PS5, down 60%, $31.99 from $79.99. Far Cry 6 did meet with okay reviews. I've heard it's just more Far Cry. It obviously has Giancarlo Esposito, who's just coming off the ending of Better Call Saul. Fantastic actor. He's in the main villain role. And oddly enough, he's the second actor from the Better Call Saul TV show to play a villain role in a Far Cry game. So that's pretty cool. Shout out to Michael Mando from Far Cry 3. As is with all Ubisoft games, it is going to be a big open map. You're going to be able to climb towers, find things around the map to explore to your heart's content. There's going to be fun combat, lots of shooting, lots of explosions. So Far Cry 6, $31.99 if you want to check that one out. We also see next up on the list Uncharted 4: A Thief's End and then the Uncharted Lost Legacy bundle together for $24.99 for PS4. As a plus for that, you can upgrade, I believe, digitally to the PS5 versions of those games for another $10. So this Uncharted bundle is going to be $24.99, marked down from $49.99. And if you decide to go for the PS5 version, that's an extra $10. That's going to be $34.99 for the PS5 versions of Uncharted 4 and Lost Legacy. That is a great deal on two fantastic action games from Naughty Dog. Two of the best action games ever made. Obviously, Uncharted is like a legendary series for PlayStation, and these two hit the mark on every point, in my opinion. I would definitely recommend this one. If you haven't played it, if you haven't played Uncharted, you could start here. The game still makes sense. And I would say you're not going to get more bang for your buck in terms of just a pure, fun action game than these two Uncharted games for this price. We also see the Batman Arkham Collection, which is going to include Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, and Arkham Knight, and all three of those games are 85% off, $11.99 down from $79.99. This is for PS4. The Arkham Asylum game, I will tell you, it runs, I believe, at 30 FPS and it is locked. Arkham City and Arkham Knight can go up to 60 FPS and they look great. The game remasters all look great. They still look pretty solid after all these years, even though the remasters, I believe, were 6 or 7 years ago. But the Arkham Collection is going to give you a lot of game for $12. These are three of my favorite games. The Batman Arkham series is a fantastic collection, a lot of fun stealth, action stuff. There's great set pieces. You get to go around the city, especially in Arkham City and Arkham Knight. The environments are huge. You're leaping off of tall buildings, flying around or gliding around, whatever you want to call it. And in Arkham Knight, you get to ride the Batmobile, which was kind of criticized, but I thought it was just kind of dumb fun, something thrown in there to kind of change up the gameplay loop a little bit from the first two, but definitely worth it for $12. Hard pressed to find a better deal on Batman games, I'll tell you that right now. So check that out, down 85%. We also see Dragon Ball Z Kakarot Ultimate Edition down 50% from originally $126.49 to $63.24. And this is a pretty good deal because Dragon Ball Z Kakarot was a surprisingly good RPG. It's very fun if you're a fan of the Dragon Ball franchise. You get to fly around in some of the environments that you saw in the show. You get to explore, you get to live through those moments in the shows that you saw over all the years. And it's really great just as a tribute to the character of Goku and his whole saga from Dragon Ball Z to even the beginning of the Dragon Ball Super arcs with Battle of Gods and Resurrection F, I believe, as stories released later, which should be part of this Ultimate Edition collection. 63.24, not a bad deal at all for all that game that you get. And moving on, we do have No Man's Sky for PS4 or PS5, $39.99, marked down 50% from $79.99. I assume this is going to have some expansion content with it. No Man's Sky is a legendary game in the fact that it is like one of the first games to ever really come back from people pronouncing it completely dead on arrival. If you're one of those people who played No Man's Sky right when it came out, you know that that game had almost nothing that it promised. It was very barren. The exploration felt really lame, but man, did they turn it around with this one, because I played this even just a couple years ago and I was so shocked at how much they had changed and how full the game felt of just things to do, how the exploration felt. It just feels awesome. If you want to prep for Starfield, I would say No Man's Sky is probably the best thing to get you ready for that. And coming up on the last few that we're going to mention in this video, we'll start with Resident Evil Village for PS4 and PS5, down 25% from $49.99 to $37.49. Resident Evil Village was pretty well received. I didn't really hear anyone say anything bad about it from what I could tell. It is a sequel to Resident Evil 7, and it is set in the village that was adjacent to all the activities of Resident Evil 7. So with this one, we do see the traditional Resident Evil creepiness, but it's in that newer era Resident Evil first person view, which I think personally takes that creepy factor to the next level. This is one that for this price, it's kind of hard to pass on. I might actually finally pick this up, although with the holiday season coming up, it may go down lower. But if you can't wait, this is definitely a great price on a game in the horror genre that's been really well received. You can pick that up now for $37.49. It's not called an extended play sale for nothing, and Persona 5 Royale will be one of the games that definitely takes that extended play to the next level. Obviously, this is a JRPG. This is one that's very beloved by the JRPG fan community, and this one is something like 100 to 150 hours of gameplay if you buy it. It is marked down right now 60% to $31.99 from $79.99. I assume again that this is adding in all of the expansion content and things like that might have been sold. Usually these extended play sales will include the premium editions or the ultimate editions of these games because they're trying to get you to play the longest games possible, the biggest bang for your buck. Persona 5 Royale here at 100 to 150 hours is definitely going to be worth it for that. We mentioned Tiny Tina's Wonderlands earlier, and now we can't leave without saying something about Borderlands 3 for PS4 or PS5 for $19.99, 75% off, down from $79.99. And Borderlands 3, the narrative, I will admit, was much weaker than any other Borderlands game I think I've played. However, the gameplay changes and the gameplay overall, especially the gunplay, is so much better than Borderlands 2. It's kind of silly. Like, you finally get some weight to your guns, you get to have some advanced movement options and stuff. The characters are just a whole lot of fun to play and master. The hunt for gear is great, and especially with all the like free events and little things they added, which are now always active. So if you want to go farm for that specific Halloween loot or that Valentine's Day loot, you can go do that at any time. Borderlands 3 is one of my favorite games. I love every game in the Borderlands series. I adore them so much because they're what really got me into the looter shooter genre and made me a fan of things like Outriders, The Division, and Destiny. So Borderlands holds a special place in my heart, and if you want to play Borderlands 3 on your PS4 or PS5, you can do that for $19.99 right now. And the last one we're going to have for our list today, not to say that this is the only set of deals. If you want to go on the PlayStation Store and check out the full list, we will include that list in the description. But the last one we're going to include on our list today is Kingdom Hearts HD 1.5 and 2.5 Remix. Kingdom Hearts is a game I started playing, I think I was around 14 or 15 when the first one came out. Man, I remember putting in a couple hundred hours on Kingdom Hearts 1, looking for all the secrets, crafting all the weapons and the armor with the Koopos, just looking for every little thing I could do to get the entire experience out of that game. And then I did the same thing when Kingdom Hearts 2 came out. Both these games are really great, fun games. The story is really hard to follow for anyone, not just people who aren't familiar with the series. And even playing from Kingdom Hearts 1 to Kingdom Hearts 2, you're gonna have a hard time if you don't play the chain of memories in between. But fortunately, in this pack, I believe there should be the chain of memories as well as a few other games to make sure that you have the ability, if you want to understand the entirety of the story to the end of Kingdom Hearts 2 up until Kingdom Hearts 3. And I think that's great because there's just so much game here, especially for $45.49, marked down 30% from $64.99. This is gonna be something that you'll be able to easily burn 100 to 150 hours between all the games here, and that's if you're not doing everything in every game. So this is our list. Hey, thank you so much for watching today. Again, I'm LittleBobby here with 59 Gaming Direct. We're going to start trying to bring you videos like this where we keep you up to date on the latest sales on Steam, Epic, and PlayStation. Let us know if you enjoyed this video by leaving a like down below and comment to us what game you'd be most interested in from this list if you don't already have them all already. All right, guys, thank you again so much for watching, and I hope to see you soon.